In a restaurant where a single bottle of wine cost more than most people's monthly rent, a millionaire's cruelty toward his deaf son would collide with a waitress who spoke the language of silence, and what she said next would expose exactly how much money can't buy. The Sterling Oak wasn't just a restaurant. It was a temple where wealthy men came to worship themselves, and Jeffrey Gary had reserved the best pew in the house. He sat at table 7 like a king holding court, his perfectly tailored suit catching the light from the chandelier overhead. His 2 business associates, Devon and Preston, flanked him, middle-aged men whose smiles had been surgically attached to their faces the moment Jeffrey's company went public. "So, I told the board," Jeffrey announced, his voice carrying across the dining room. "Either they accept my terms or I walk." Guess what happened? "They caved," Devon supplied eagerly. "Of course they caved," Preston added, laughing on cue. Beside Jeffrey, nearly invisible, sat his son Justin. The 18-year-old had perfected the art of being present while absent. His blue hoodie hung loose on his frame, and the blue hearing aids were impossible to miss, though everyone at the table was pretending otherwise. 3 months ago, a drunk driver had stolen Justin's hearing. His father had responded by buying the best therapists, the best equipment, everything except the one thing Justin actually needed: someone willing to learn his language. Jeffrey had refused to learn a single sign. "I pay people to accommodate me," he'd snapped when Justin's therapist suggested family ASL lessons. Not the other way around. That's when Joan appeared. Joan Alexander had been working at the Sterling Oak for 3 years, saving for nursing school. At 28, she'd grown up in a deaf family. ASL was her mother tongue. She'd developed a finely tuned radar for the casual cruelty the hearing world showed to people like her family. "Good evening, gentlemen," she said warmly, making sure Justin could see her lips clearly. Jeffrey barely glanced up. "Finally, Chateau Margaux, 2015, oyster selection. My son," he gestured dismissively at Justin without looking at him, "will have the salmon. He doesn't need a menu." Joan's professional smile tightened. She turned to Justin. "And what would you like, sir?" The table went silent. Jeffrey's head snapped up. "Excuse me?" Joan kept her eyes on Justin, waiting. "I said," Jeffrey's voice rose, "he'll have the salmon. Are you deaf too, or just incompetent?" Joan's spine straightened. "Sir, I'm simply confirming your son's preference. He is 18, correct?" "He's deaf," Jeffrey hissed. "Talk to my deaf son if you want. See how far that gets you." The mockery in his voice was thick. Devon and Preston laughed nervously, but Joan didn't flinch. Instead, her hands began to move. Justin's breath caught. She was signing. Perfect ASL. "What would you like to eat?" His hands trembled as he signed back. "You know ASL?" Joan smiled. "Deaf family. It's my first language." Something cracked open in Justin's chest. For 3 months, no one had spoken his language. His father refused. His friends had drifted away. But here, this waitress was actually asking him what he wanted. He signed quickly. "The salmon is fine. Thank you. Are you sure?" Joan raised an eyebrow. "Or is that what he wants you to order?" Jeffrey had gone completely still, confused and angry. "What? What is this? What are you doing?" Joan turned to him with perfect courtesy. "I'm taking your son's order, sir, as requested." "That's not— Just bring the salmon." "Dad," Justin's voice was quiet but clear, "I don't want salmon." The table went nuclear silent. Jeffrey's face flushed red. "What did you say?" "I said I don't want salmon. You order it every time because you like it. I want the steak. Medium rare." It was the most he'd said to his father in months. Jeffrey turned on Joan with fury. "This is your fault. You think you can undermine me?" "I think," Joan said carefully, that your son has a voice and hands. Both work just fine. How dare you? Do you know who I am? Jeffrey Gary. Gary Corp. Net worth around 400 million. Joan's recitation was clinical. I know exactly who you are, sir. I also know that money doesn't buy the right to speak for someone who can speak for themselves. The restaurant had gone quiet, other diners watching. Jeffrey stood abruptly. I want to speak to your manager, now. Of course, sir. Joan turned to Justin, signing. Do you still want the steak? Justin looked at his father, then signed firmly. Yes, medium rare, and the Caesar salad. Joan nodded. Excellent choice. Jeffrey's face had gone purple. You're done. Finished. I'll have your job, your references, everything. That's your right, sir, Joan said quietly. But threatening me won't change the fact that you can't talk to your son. The words landed like a missile. I can talk to him just fine. Really? When's the last time you had a conversation with him? A real one? He can't. Jeffrey caught himself. Can't what? Hear? That's true. But he can see, think, feel, and communicate just fine. The question isn't whether he can talk to you, Mr. Gary. It's whether you're willing to learn how to listen. Joan's voice softened, more dangerous. You're right. I'm a waitress. I serve food and smile and collect tips. And you know what else I do? I go home to my deaf parents and my deaf brother and my deaf grandmother, and I tell them about my day, in sign language. Because that's how we communicate. That's how we connect. She paused. My mother's a janitor. She's cleaned toilets your shoes have probably touched. And she's a better parent than you'll ever be because she actually talks to her children, not at them, not for them. To them. The restaurant was a tomb. So yes, Mr. Gary, I'm just a waitress, but at least I know how to have a conversation with someone who's deaf. Can you say the same? Jeffrey's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. Justin stared at Joan like she'd performed a miracle. His hands moved. Thank you. She signed back, stay strong. Then she walked away, leaving Jeffrey Gary speechless. Justin stood. I'm leaving. The hell you are. Sit. Down. No. Justin pulled out his phone and typed, I pay people to accommodate me, not the other way around. That's what you told my therapist. So I guess I've always known where I stand. He walked toward the exit. Halfway to the door, Joan appeared, slightly breathless, her vest already removed. I got fired, she said. Well, technically I quit, she signed. Want to get real food? There's a diner 3 blocks from here. Justin felt tears prick his eyes. You didn't have to lose your job for me. Yes, I did, Joan signed firmly. Some things are worth more than a paycheck. Together, they walked out of the Sterling Oak, leaving Jeffrey Gary alone at table 7. The diner, Rosie's, was everything the Sterling Oak wasn't. Warm, genuine, welcoming. Over chocolate chip pancakes, Joan told Justin about her family. My brother was born deaf. My mom cried for 3 days, not because he was deaf, but because she was scared she wouldn't be able to communicate with him. So she learned. The whole family learned ASL. My dad said learning to sign was unnecessary. Justin signed bitterly. Your dad is wrong. Justin's phone buzzed. His father calling repeatedly, then texts. Jeffrey, you're making a scene. Come back. Jeffrey, don't throw away your future over rebellion. Jeffrey, fine, but don't come crawling back. You have no money, no place to stay, no prospects without me. Joan's phone buzzed. She showed Justin a text from someone labeled, Mama, bring your friend home. We have the guest room ready. Tell him he's safe here. She doesn't even know me, Justin signed, stunned. She knows enough. You're deaf, alone, and need help. That's all she needs to know. The deaf community. We take care of our own. The Alexander house sat in a modest South Side neighborhood. Joan's mother, Grace, greeted them at the door, her hands moving in welcome. "Come in. You must be freezing." Behind her, Joan's teenage brother, Terrence, signed with a grin. "You're the guy from the restaurant?" That was legendary. Joan's grandmother, Ruth, emerged from the kitchen. "Sit, I'll make tea." And just like that, Justin was absorbed into their family. Grace signed to Justin. "You can stay as long as you need. We have rules. Respect, honesty, contribute where you can, but you're safe here." Ruth added, "Your father, he's afraid of what he can't control. Fear makes people cruel. It's not an excuse, just an explanation." "What do you want?" Grace asked. "Really want?" Justin signed slowly. "To not be invisible, to matter. My therapist told me about Gallaudet University for the deaf, but my father said it was a waste." "Gallaudet is amazing," Terrence signed excitedly. "My cousin goes there, says it's the first place he ever felt like he belonged." "You should apply," Joan signed. "It's not too late. I'd need transcripts, recommendations, fees." "We'll figure it out," Grace signed with finality. "Tomorrow. Tonight, you rest." That night, Justin turned off his phone after sending one message to his father. "Justin, I need space. Don't contact me for a while." For the first time in 3 months, he could breathe. The next 3 weeks were a blur of paperwork and revelation. Justin applied to Gallaudet with Terrence's help. His prep school counselor sent a recommendation without questions. The application fee came from Joan's nursing school fund. "Pay me back when you're famous," she'd signed with a grin. Meanwhile, someone's phone video from the restaurant went viral. "Millionaire's meltdown, tech CEO Jeffrey Gary caught mocking deaf son," read the headlines. Joan's phone exploded with interview requests. Gary Corp's stock dipped. Board members asked questions. Sponsors pulled out. Jeffrey Gary's reputation cracked. Justin watched with mixed feelings, vindication and guilt warring inside him. "You didn't do this," Joan signed. "He did. You just stopped protecting him from the consequences." Here's a question. When does protecting someone become enabling them? Have you ever stayed silent about bad behavior because speaking up felt too hard? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Life in the Alexander house developed a rhythm. Justin helped with dishes, learned their signing styles, played cards with Ruth, who signed ruthless trash talk. He learned what community felt like. Grace's deaf friends came for weekly game night, welcoming Justin like family. A professor named Roger signed, "The hearing world will try to fix you, but we know the truth. We're not broken. We're just different. And different is powerful." And then there was Joan. She'd started nursing school, but always made time for Justin. Their conversations developed an easy intimacy, a shorthand built on shared experience and genuine care. One night, over cold pizza, Joan told him why she'd really stood up to his father. "When I was 10, a woman at the grocery store said about my family, 'It's so sad. Those poor deaf people, what kind of life can they have?' My mom heard her, and I watched her shrink. We left without the ice cream. I asked why she didn't say anything. She said, 'Save your energy for battles that matter.'" Joan's hands moved with fierce precision. "But I was tired of walking away. When I saw your father treating you like you weren't even there, that was a battle that mattered." Justin reached across and took her hand, not signing, just holding. 3 weeks after the restaurant incident, Jeffrey showed up at the Alexander house. Grace answered the door but didn't invite him in. She signed to Justin, "Your choice. Do you want to talk to him?" "Yes. But out here." Justin stepped onto the porch. His father looked older, tired. The viral video had taken its toll. "Justin," Jeffrey's voice was softer, "can we talk? Really talk? Justin typed on his phone. I can't hear you, Dad. Remember? Jeffrey flinched. I know, I just wanted to explain. Everything I did, the therapists, the hearing aids, pushing you to speak, I was trying to help. You were trying to fix me. There's a difference. I didn't need fixing. I needed you to see me. I see you. No, you see what you want me to be. You've never seen who I actually am. That's not true. Everything I've built is for you. I never asked for that. I just asked you to learn how to talk to me, and you couldn't even do that. The words hung brutal and honest. Jeffrey's face crumpled. I didn't think I needed to. I thought if I fixed the problem. I'm not a problem to be fixed. I know that now, Jeffrey said quietly. The video, the articles, maybe they're right. Maybe I've been wrong. So what do you want? I want a chance, not to go back. I know that's impossible, but to go forward, differently, to learn, to do better. You want to? Or your lawyers think it'll help? Jeffrey flushed. Both. Is that honest enough? Yes, my lawyers say reconciliation would help. But also, I miss my son, the actual son standing in front of me. Justin felt something crack. If you're serious, here are my terms. You learn ASL. Actually learn it. You go to therapy. And you accept that my life is mine to choose. Princeton. I applied to Gallaudet. Jeffrey's face cycled through shock and dismay, but then, slowly, something shifted. Is that what you want? Yes. Okay. You'll learn to sign? I'll learn to sign. I'm not coming home. Not yet. Maybe not for a while. Where will you stay? Here, with the Alexanders. They've been more family to me in 3 weeks than you've been in 3 months. Jeffrey absorbed the blow. How much do they want? For taking care of you? Stop. Not everything is a transaction. They're doing this because they're good people, something you've never understood. Grace stepped onto the porch. Joan appeared to interpret. Mr. Gary, Justin is welcome here as long as he needs. We don't want your money. What we want is for you to respect your son. Jeffrey nodded. Then, to Justin's shock, his father's hands moved in clumsy practice signs. I'm sorry, I will learn, I promise. The signs were rough, but they were there. Okay, Justin signed back. Okay. 2 months later, Justin opened an envelope from Gallaudet University. Congratulations. We are pleased to offer you admission. The Alexander living room erupted, signs flying, faces beaming, Ruth hugging Justin fiercely. But there was another letter, from his father's lawyers. Justin opened it with trepidation. Instead of threats, he found, Justin, your college fund has been transferred to your control. Use it for Gallaudet or anywhere else. I've enrolled in ASL classes 3 times a week. I'm terrible, but I'm trying. I started therapy, learning how my need for control damaged us. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just patience, while I learn to be the father you needed. I love you. Dad, P.S. I've established a scholarship fund at Gallaudet in your name, 5 deaf students annually. Joan Alexander was the first recipient. She's going to nursing school. She said to tell you she can finally quit serving rich people. Justin's hands froze. What? Joan's face was guilty and glowing. I was going to tell you tonight. Your dad reached out a month ago, wanted to make amends without obligating you. We worked out the scholarship details. You've been talking to my father? About scholarships, yes? About you? Never. Joan's hands moved earnestly. He's trying, Justin. Really trying. Grace has been tutoring him in ASL via video. He's terrible, but he shows up every session. Justin sank onto the couch, overwhelmed. This wasn't the twist he'd expected. He'd prepared for more legal battles, more control attempts. But actual growth, actual effort. So what now? Terrence signed. Eventually, Justin signed slowly. I'll talk to him, on my terms, when I'm ready. 3 months later, Justin sat in a DC coffee shop across from his father. Jeffrey's hands moved carefully. How is school? The signing was still clumsy, but it was there. Good. It feels like home. Jeffrey signed, I'm proud of you, not proud of achievements or status, just proud of him, as he was. They talked, signed, for an hour, stilted, imperfect, but it was a conversation. As they stood to leave, Jeffrey signed, Can we do this again? Justin considered. His father had shown up consistently, had funded Joan's school without demanding credit, had done the work. Yes, we can do this again. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet. But it was a beginning. 1 year later, Justin stood at Gallaudet's annual scholarship gala. Joan sat front row in her nursing school uniform. Grace, Ruth, and Terrence had come from Chicago. Jeffrey sat in back, trying to be inconspicuous. Justin's hands moved in confident ASL as an interpreter voiced his words. A year ago, I thought being deaf meant being broken, but this community taught me different. Being deaf doesn't mean being less. It means being different. And different isn't a deficit. It's a perspective, a language, a culture. His eyes found Joan's. Someone told me that love isn't about what's easy. It's about what's necessary. Meeting people where they are instead of where you're comfortable. He looked toward his father. The scholarship we're celebrating exists because someone learned that lesson the hard way. It's not perfect redemption, but it's growth, and growth is enough. The room erupted, hands waving in visual applause. After Joan found Justin outside, that was beautiful. Justin signed hesitantly. Can I tell you something? Always. I'm falling in love with you. Joan's smile could power the city. Think or no? No. Definitely no. She kissed him then, in the shadow of a university built for people like them. Jeffrey approached, his signing much improved. You did great. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Dad. Justin paused. Want to get coffee? Really talk? Jeffrey's face lit up. I'd like that. As they walked together, father and son finally learning the same language, Justin realized his accident hadn't ended his life. It had redirected it, away from a path chosen by fear toward one chosen by authenticity. He'd lost his hearing but found his voice. He'd been cast out by arrogance but welcomed by love. And that wasn't just victory, it was transformation. Sometimes the greatest gift is being seen for who you are. Have you ever felt invisible in your own life? Has anyone ever stood up for you when you couldn't stand up for yourself? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear.